Hey, my fellow traders, what is going on? If you are looking for some market clarity in an otherwise choppy market situation, then you have found the right place. You are here with Riz Elite, and this is our weekly market recap webinar where we recap the week in the market and kind of talk about what's going on and answer all of your questions here for our Riz Elite family here. It is an amazing group. I'm glad each and every one of you is here for the live call. And for everybody watching on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Would really appreciate it because you are going to be getting a lot of content here that you are not going to find anywhere else. So let's go ahead and start off taking a look at the S&P 500. And we see that the support and resistance levels that Riz was talking about really held true here over the last couple of weeks. So we had a really solid test of this 4,300 area on the S&P 500. Three different attempts, if you don't include this one, if you do four, and really holding strong. That is a very large buying area. And, you know, we kind of pushed up and then we kind of pulled back towards the end of last week. And then the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the market just went crazy towards the upside. So blew through 4,400 like it wasn't even there and making its way back towards the all-time high, pushing over technical support here of the 50 simple moving average here on the daily chart. So very strong bullish move in the S&P 500 in the latter half of the week. Really, really strong. And for all of you who took advantage of some of those, you know, those trades that we posted, you should be sitting pretty right about now because this nice little rally in the market has definitely helped push those long positions towards the green side of things. I know that my portfolio is looking a little bit greener than it was before. Not exactly where I want it, but we're getting there one day at a time. Let's go ahead and jump here to the S&P 500. Let's push that towards the year to date, and we see energy just going wild. We'll see that here with the price of oil in a minute, but energy, the highest it has been all year, breaking over the 50% mark. So energy up 50% on the year so far, 51 actually. Financials and real estate really swinging towards the upside. Honestly, everything is just curling back towards the positive side of things. Tech is now, beating the S&P 500 by 1%. Tech XLK here, the ETF is what we're looking at for that sector, up 21.9%, while the S&P 500 itself, represented by the SPY ETF, is up 20.9%. Healthcare, XLV, and utilities, XLU, still lagging behind the S&P 500, but still looking positive on the year, 13.3% for healthcare and 7.46% for utilities. Things just really turning around and looking up. And the reason that that energy sector is up so much is because of this. Look at this move in oil. That is just wild, to say the least. Huge, huge move in oil here over the last couple weeks, with oil closing. Looks like we may have some action going on right now in futures. But here on Friday, oil closed at 82.28. New high on the year for oil. Oil looking very, very strong right now. Very bullish move, blowing past this previous resistance level. Hey, Ricardo, glad you made it. Glad you're here. And oil just making a massive move towards the upside right now. A lot of talk, obviously, with production numbers and things like that. So oil looking very, very strong at the moment. Gold, not so much. Gold is, whoops, I always forget to do that. Let's put that back to the pointer. Gold really not doing much of anything, honestly. It's really just trading sideways for the most part. We're kind of stuck in this area here between 1830-ish and, here the support level at 1680. But honestly, right about here is our low, about 1720. So we got about, $100 range for gold, and that's it. It's really just trading inside that range, not doing too much. So gold, not too exciting. Bitcoin, on the other hand, going bonkers over the last couple days. Really massive push towards the upside on Bitcoin, but we did run into resistance here right around the $61,900 range. Seems to be a bit of resistance that we have encountered in the past. And with several attempts on that, Bitcoin has not been able to push through it. So we'll have to see if Bitcoin can continue pushing up on that, currently trading at $61,550 and change per coin. That, of course, can change at any time because Bitcoin is traded 24/7. Let me go ahead and pull up our trades that we took this week. And the first of those trades that we did take this week was Baba. Very interesting play by Riz. Has really been just slammed by the news coming out of China, things like that. Them talking about, nationalizing certain industries and things like that. Of course, with the Evergrande fiasco going on, Chinese stocks just really basically taking a huge hit. But this one worked out absolutely beautifully. Got in on this one on the 7th at 153, and yeah, blasted up to 168, easily blowing through profit target one. And if you were a sniper, nope, you would have missed profit target two by 20 cents, which was 170. But honestly, really easy trade here on Baba. This was great. I see a lot of our elite members went ahead and took this one. Great, buy the dip play. Really bounced off the support level here around 140. And really, really beautiful bounce here on Baba. Easy trade. Couldn't be much more happy with this one. Next one was Fedex. We took this one on the 13th in at 223 and looking very, very good so far, up $6 per share. Not quite to profit target one, which is 232, but looking very nice. Looking like we have found the floor here and we are starting to rebound. Was critically oversold. Really got hammered here post earnings, and we kind of felt that this was a bit overdone, but really had kind of finished selling off, consolidated a bit, and looked like it was starting to break out. So we went ahead and got in on this one, beautifully timed on this one, getting in here on the 13th, and obviously the move on Thursday and Friday was spectacular. J&J was the last one we took. This is one that actually I alerted Riz to a little while ago. Be aware that we have earnings coming up here, but went ahead and took this one at 160.75. So this one is up a little bit. We took this one on the 14th. Obviously, we're nowhere near profit target one yet. We've been in it for all of one day. So not much going in on that one, but really looking very, very nice here on J&J. So definitely cannot complain that one at all. Really bounced nicely off of this 160 support, right in this area. And definitely found some support down here as well around this 158 area. And really looking to bounce here. And we're hoping that earnings will continue to catapult that towards the upside. But if not, it is something that we do not have a problem holding on to longer, because all of these companies that we listed here today, very, very solid companies, not going anywhere. All of them do very good work. And honestly, if you want to hold J&J, this dividend is not insignificant. So really, really nice dividend on J&J. This is one that a lot of people like to hold for dividends. So if you like dividends, you could definitely hold this one longer if that is something that you wanted to do. I know that was rather quick, but we only took a few trades as far as actual securities. Of course, all of our elite members get access to all of our trade, including our options trades, our short puts, things like that, that we don't go over here in webinar. And so if that's something that you're interested in, I know that we are not planning on opening up, membership until next year. So if you are interested, make sure you go to rizinternational.com, get on our mailing list so that you get alerted every time that we do open membership back up. If that is something you're interested in, we'd love to have you here as a part of Riz Elite. But for all of my Riz Elite brothers and sisters here, now is the time for Q&A. Wanted to go ahead and open it up to the floor to see what you guys wanted to talk about. I'll just pull the S&P 500 back up here for the moment. But yeah, S&P 500 really strong here. Very, very nice move towards the upside. Very bullish. DraftKings, DKNG, sure. Okay, DraftKings. Obviously, during the whole Corona thing, got quite a boost, from where it was, down here in the doldrums, and no one had anything better to do but apparently bet on sports. And so DraftKings really making a very solid move towards the upside. How do I like it right now? Honestly, it's really just kind of consolidating here. It could go either direction. Just kind of looking the rough overall picture here. These lines won't be exact, but it'll give us an idea of where we're at. Just kind of want to zoom in there. Oh, that line placement was actually pretty decent. So, I don't love it. I don't love it from this area. Honestly, it's just consolidating sideways. Could go either direction at this point. Obviously, being below all the moving averages is not ideal. It's not an ideal situation. If, it's something that you wanted to do, I mean, you could take a starter position in it. giving yourself plenty of room to, go ahead and, add if need be. But you'll see here with earnings have always been typically pretty bad for DraftKings. They're not making money. Not exactly sure how, considering how much money people spend on this. But that being said, if you guys have noticed, there have been a lot of ads. I know I'm getting hammered with ads for other sports books and things like that. And so I kind of think that this space, they're starting to see some competition in this space, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But, it can definitely eat into their profit margins, if they actually had them. Yeah, I don't love this by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we still have potential downside here easily towards, 42 something, 42.25. That seems pretty decent. Here around 43.85 could be some support in that area as well. So, there's definitely still downside potential here for DraftKings in this area. I don't love this setup, but if this is a setup that you trade that you like, you definitely could take this if you wanted, Matthew. All right, Ricardo says Tesla RSI shows overbought at the top of a trend. Do you think it can keep that rally? Sure, let's take a look at Tesla. Ooh-wee, look at her go. Obviously really kind of curling up with the market here. Can Tesla maintain it? Absolutely. RSI is not an absolute. It's not like once we hit overbought, on RSI, it does not just like, oh, it's going to reverse immediately. Things can stay overbought or oversold for some time. So do I think it can keep this rally? Absolutely. It definitely can. Is it plausible? Hard to say. Depends on how people look at it on Monday, what happens in the market on Monday. I know that Riz will be keeping an eye on futures, which should be opening up here fairly soon. And typically he will alert us to that. But of course, he is on vacation. So we do hope that he is enjoying his vacation, but definitely for sure. But yeah, I don't blame you for that, Ricardo. After a move like this, I would take profits too. So, I think that's a very smart play that you took. I definitely, if you were in this and you had been in it for a little bit looking for a rally, this is it. I would not necessarily hold the bag long term on Tesla, though it does seem to be doing very well for itself as far as stock price is concerned. But yeah, I mean, a move like this, you typically want to go ahead and capitalize on it. Go ahead and take it. I think there's an upside to Visa, MasterCard, and or PayPal. Do you have a preference if you had to choose one? Okay, let's take a look at them. All right, let's take a look at Visa here. So I know we were in Visa a little while ago, and we were able to make some decent profits on that. Visa is just kind of range bound at the moment. Let me see here. Yeah, it's just kind of stuck like in this zone here, like right between here and say between like here. It just kind of seems to be stuck in that area for the moment. Could it continue to rally? Absolutely. If the market continues to, push up on Monday, that looks pretty decent. Let's look at MasterCard. MasterCard looking like it's doing kind of the same thing, honestly, kind of trading in tandem. And then PayPal. I believe we had a position in PayPal earlier. Honestly, if I had to pick one, it would probably be from a technical standpoint, it would be PayPal. Just because we pushed over this previous support, we closed over it and we held over it. Also, we're sitting on top of the 200 simple moving average as opposed to below it. For the other ones, MasterCard, of course, a higher dollar stock. Same thing for Visa. Both of them over $100, actually over 200, both of them. And I think PayPal is just a little, it's in the 200 range too. So they're all pretty expensive. Let's not kid ourselves with that. But if you're asking me which setup I like better, I think PayPal I prefer. Matthew says, hey, Chris, I don't know if you know anything about ABCL, but if you do, how do you feel about their tech? Well, let me look here. I am not familiar with this one at all. Looks like a recent IPO. This is what we would typically call penny stock bullshit at this point. Yes, it is over $10. I get it. I don't know anything about this company. I would have to look into their pipeline, what they do. Obviously, it's a biotech stock, with this name. I wouldn't touch this. If I were you, I'd be very careful on this one, Matthew. Okay, Ricardo says AT&T and Verizon. Do you think the breakout will hold? Looks oversold and seems to be pushing back up. Okay, let's take a look. I mean, AT&T got absolutely hammered here recently. So, I mean, definitely we're getting the bounce here on AT&T. We do have earnings coming up soon as well. So very nice mean reversion here. Let's look at VZ. Almost identical chart pattern, to be honest with you, and both of them are going to have earnings here fairly soon. So, I mean, it definitely has room to go, Ricardo. It definitely could continue to push. Do I think it'll hold? I mean, it's anybody's guess. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that yes, it will or no, it won't. You took positions in both, awesome. Then you should be sitting pretty good, pretty decent, depending on your entry, and you don't need to post that. That's your own personal information. But yeah, both of them really got hammered pretty bad. Not going to lie, and they're definitely bouncing back up, which is nice. Not sure if you were able to get it on that ex dividend or not, but not too substantial, so nothing to worry about. But yeah, earnings look like they're coming up here in just a couple days. Looks like the 20th here for Verizon. Let's look at AT&T, the 21st. So yeah, we'll get Verizon first, and then AT&T. If you don't want to hold through earnings and it continues to rally, I would probably recommend taking profits just to make sure you lock some in, because anything can happen at earnings day. PFE seems to be consolidating, if memory serves. That's Pfizer. Yep. This is not what I would call consolidation. This is what I'd call a downtrend. Pfizer getting absolutely hammered. Thank you, Merck. With the Merck announcement with their new therapeutic for coronavirus, obviously it's hurting here with Pfizer. Though I would say on the day that it was announced, Pfizer didn't move all that much. But yeah, the rally seems to be over for Pfizer, and Pfizer's coming back down. I don't really see this as consolidation. I mean, this is 3 candles of consolidation. I'd like to see a bit more. This still has a lot of room to the downside, in my opinion. You've easily got a full dollar minimum. Potential downside could be even more than that. So, as always, forgot to turn the cell phone off. I would be careful trying to buy the dip on Pfizer like this. And Pfizer does have a bit of a history of being a bit petulant, as far as, making the moves that we'd like to see. So, yeah, I'd be really careful with Pfizer. I don't know if I would buy it here. I don't really like it. Orlando says, Sam, what kind of upside do you see? I like it long term and seems to be it seems to have found a bottom, excuse me. Thoughts on price in 2020? Sam Engineering and Equipment. Oof. Wow, they got pounded. Yeah, they got pounded on earnings too. So, and yeah, revenue was down by quite a bit as well. Oh, not this one. Oh, you like the beer. Well, this is it. This is, I picked the right one. I must have read something, but yes, it's Boston Beer Company. Yeah, I'm on the right ticker, so that's good. Good stuff. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Sam Adams Boston Lager. Way too hoppy, in my opinion. But their Oktoberfest is pretty solid. And sadly, we are not seeing the Oktoberfest bounce unless this was it. The bottom does seem to have been found here around the 500 area. Obviously, a huge psychological support level there. Will it bounce up? Hard to say. I guess with people getting out more, and like doing things in real life, I guess they don't need to buy their beer from the store and, go home. So I guess that might be some of the reason here. I'm sure that Frito-Lay is experiencing a similar dip. That would make logical sense. Not quite sure if it's actually happening, but obviously, coming into the winter season, when the blizzards start hitting, everyone goes and gets, bread and milk, and, the real smart ones get chips and beer. So we'll have to see if the winter does anything. Of course, I'm being facetious if you haven't figured that out yet. This is my sarcasm coming in. Sam Adams getting absolutely hammered here. I mean, really hammered. And it's pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. So the not such good sales on the seltzers. Okay. Well, White Claw seems to have that one, locked up. That seems to be the new cheer beer that everybody likes to go and get. I'm sure there are plenty of memes out there as to what your beer says about you. And there's more than enough about White Claw, as far as I can say. But yeah, 500 definitely seems to be a support level. If it gets back there and it bounces again, you could definitely consider taking a position. But if it breaks through 500 and stays below it, I would let it go. Also, we do have earnings coming up here on the 21st. So please be aware of that, because it can go absolutely bonkers. It could go either direction. At that point, it could gap up or gap down. But if sales were bad on the last one, my guess is that we're not going to see an increase in sales over the summer. That's just my thinking. I know we all equate like summer and beer and, parties and things like that, but I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be as good as it was before. So I just have, my gut says it's going down. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will. That's just kind of what my gut says, Orlando. So just be careful. Like I said, if it comes back to 500 and bounces again, and we get through earnings with decent numbers, it definitely could be pushing up. I don't really see it pushing up right now. Yeah, we had 3 up candles here, but after that, it's been nothing but down. So until I see another reversal, I'm not going to say that this is pushing up. So yeah, this one, I think we need to see some more. I'm not enthralled with this one. But definitely something to keep on your watch. If you like this and you're all about it, then you definitely can keep an eye on it. Okay, MKC, what do you think on a possible entry? Seems to be on a downtrend, even while being hammered, but it might be pushing up. Okay, let's look at MKC. Cormac, everybody needs their seasonings. Yeah, it definitely found some solid support here right around 78. And definitely did bounce off of that. It's definitely extended past the moving averages here. So there's, a lot of space for this. Could definitely be pushing up. But I do worry about supply chain issues with things, food related and things of that matter. Yeah, they do make good seasonings, not going to lie. The question is, can they get them on the shelves? That's the big question. That's the big question about a lot of things that, that are, consumable goods. Here are the supply chain issues. And Mike, I do see your question. I won't miss it. So I will get back to that one in just a second. But yeah, definitely looking like a pretty nice bounce here. If we start to continue to see this to move up, if we make a push over, this high of 80.50, I would definitely like it as a potential entry for that. So definitely potential here on McCormick if it continued to push up. Corsair, as you know, I'm in it, and oh boy, perhaps it's best that I didn't see the market on Friday. Well, this sucks. What are my thoughts on bag holding Corsair? Well, I'm doing it. It seems like their announcement this week about the chip shortage caused an overreaction Friday. I agree. It looks like a bit of an overreaction, but obviously with things going on in Taiwan, with the Chinese doing basically flybys over Taiwan right now, and it definitely feels like there's something going on. We know that China wants to get into Taiwan. That's something that they're interested in. And there's always a question whether the current administration will uphold their treaties or not. Sorry for all the drawings. This is what happens when I get into a position. So yeah, if they made an announcement on Friday, let's see here. Okay, so downbeat Q3 sales guidance because outlook amidst supply chain issues. I think you're honestly going to see a lot of this with a lot of these, companies that rely on chip and other, things like that. So yeah, a bit of a bummer here on Corsair. I'm in it. That sucks. Sucks pretty bad. I was really hopeful after Thursday. Things were looking great after Thursday, but yeah, got hammered on Friday. That's a bummer. But yeah, it looks like an overreaction to me. Oh yeah, I took an early entry too. I actually was holding it, somewhere in here, got out up here, and then I got in on this dip, and I was expecting it to rebound some more, and it never did. Yeah, I'm kind of that opinion as well, Matthew. I'm a little frustrated with it, not going to lie. Really wish it would get its act together, but I just feel like all of these rallies get sold off. It's really frustrating, and I understand your pain. Sorry about that. I understand your pain and how you feel. as far as that's concerned. Yeah, I understand that as well, Mike. Mike says he's considering averaging down. I get that. Um, yeah, it's a personal decision on how you want to handle your cash position right now. And if you're already into it quite a bit, then it may not be worth it. You're going to have to gauge that, on your own account. Obviously, I can't talk about, what's going on in your account, but you'll know what's best for you. If you don't feel like averaging down here is the best choice, then don't do it. All right, Starbucks. Does Starbucks look good for an entry? You were hammered on Starbucks. Well, man, you must have drank a lot of coffee to get hammered. Um, does it look good for an entry? No, it's below the 200 simple moving average. That, of course, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good entry. For me, I wouldn't take it here in a clear downtrend at this point. So I've kind of made it a habit now after trying some plays, buying them rather on a downtrend to not do it. That's not a official strategy from Riz. Just that's just my personal preference. I wouldn't take Starbucks here. Could it work? Absolutely. Could totally work. It has definitely been consolidating. This is more what I would say consolidation looks like. It really just kind of been trading in this range, but still in this downtrend here. So I'll just be really careful on Starbucks. Not my favorite setup. Yeah, Mike, I have too. I have got absolutely hammered trying to buy at the bottom, thinking, oh, it can't go any lower than this, and then it does. Corsair, oh, excuse me. But yeah, I totally understand your sentiment on that, Mike, and I agree with you as well. It's a gamble, honestly. If you buy Starbucks here, it's a complete gamble. So if you're comfortable with that, then by all means, you can take it here. If you are comfortable with the risk that you are buying below the 200 and it could continue to drop with, again, supply chain issues, then yeah, you just have to come to peace with the fact that you're comfortable with that, and it may take some time to work out. You do have earnings coming up here. Looks like on the 28th, close to Halloween. Obviously, pumpkin spice revenues will be included in that. And then we have our dividend here on the 10th, looking like they're estimating 49 cents per share on that. So, will we get the pumpkin spice earnings? Will that be enough to push, Starbucks higher? Good question. Possibly could. But yeah, it's a gamble buying it here. HPE looking amazing too. Well, let's see what looks amazing. Hewlett Packard. That's impressive that it's moving like this amongst what we're doing with semiconductors and things like that. Obviously, Hewlett Packard needs chips for their stuff as well. I've got my HP Office Jet sitting right here, waiting for for me to hit the print button on something. But yeah, Hewlett Packard looking pretty strong here. Not going to lie. Post earnings, it did really well. Obviously we had a beat here on earnings. Revenue was down a bit, but below the estimate, I should say. But after the sell-off here, because obviously they beat earnings, so they should sell off. That makes logical sense. After that, Hewlett Packard really making a nice push here. A little bit lower dollar of a stock. Didn't always used to be this low, but it is the way it is. Oh, there we go. So yeah, it looks like our high here is like about 19. So I must have been thinking of a different tech ticker there. So my mistake on that. But yeah, HP looking pretty solid. You got a lot of support down here. Definitely, some overhead resistance probably around this 1530 mark that we saw it reject from here. And then probably about 1555 or so. Looks pretty solid there. But yeah, definitely a lot of potential upsides. Oh, you took a entry at the lows, Ricardo. Well done. That's what I call a freaking hit right there. Yeah. So if you took this at the lows, then you're doing very, very well for yourself right now. So well done, sir. Well done. Can't beat that. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely take some profits here and then hold the rest if you wanted to. It's definitely one of those ones that you could take some risk off the table if you want to free up some cash and get some cash. Always a good thing. That's all right. There's never a wrong time to take profits. If you made money on the trade, then you didn't do it too early. The thing is, no one knows if something is going to do this. You could get this one big green bar here and then it could just roll back over. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too much about taking profits early. You never are going to lose money by taking profits. So I would be pretty happy about that, honestly, if I were you. So if you're still holding a position, then great. If not, and you took your profits on this already, congratulations. Well done. You did it. As far as an entry, you definitely could eyeball one, see if something opens up on Monday, aka tomorrow, and see if it looks good then. If it wants to continue to push, you could consider taking another position if you're not in one. But yeah, if you bought some down here and you still have it, then you're looking pretty good. Really good, great questions tonight, guys. Great tickers. I'm glad that we're looking at the good stuff for the most part. Very well done. And I just want to kind of remind everybody, we're not a community here that like spams trades constantly. I know that we've had some people who have left us recently because they felt like we weren't giving them enough trade opportunities or things like that. Of course, Matthew, you're welcome. I'm glad you're here. But one of the things, guys, you have to understand when you're really trading in the market and you're not just spamming trades hoping that you'll hit something sooner or later and that will be enough to carry you through. When you're actually trading and you're actually putting your own money on the line, you want to make sure that you are getting into solid setups, solid companies that even if they roll over, will you can hold, you can continue to hold and be confident in the fact that these things are not going to go to zero, that there is upside potential, and maybe your timing is just off. And so, as a result of that, we're not going to be spamming like 20 trades in a week. And if you think that's what Riz Elite is about, you're not coming to the right place. And honestly, if that's what you think trading is, your idea of what actual trading is somewhat flawed. I know that other services out there, and I'm not going to kid myself and say that there aren't other services. We all know that there are. Other services out there love spamming trades. They like posting lots of different options trades and things like that, and naked calls and naked puts and things like that. And we have talked to people who have been in those communities who have gotten absolutely hammered in those communities because they take all of these trades just for the sake of trading. And that, guys, is going to be kind of my philosophical message tonight, is to understand that with real trading, when you're actually trying to help people be successful in the markets and some things like that, sometimes what we have to do is protect traders from themselves. Trust me, I get it. I understand that sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, if I'm not in the market, if I'm not trading, I'm not doing something, then I'm not making money. It's not necessarily the case, guys. And sometimes when we have really choppy markets, when we had here, where there is no direction, and in the moment we're green and then we're red and then we're back to green again, it's incredibly difficult to trade reliably during those circumstances. And I think that this community has done it better than any that I have seen before. And so if you are questioning yourself whether you should be part of Riz Elite or not, the real question is how long do you want to be a trader? Would you like to be a trader for a month and blow your account up on bullshit options plays that just all go to zero? Or would you actually like to get some quality trades, maybe not as frequently as you get in other rooms, but ones that are good setups that have a high probability of, going green and going positive, and that we've actually looked into? Exactly, Ricardo. It's quality over quantity, and that is exactly what it is. And I think that some people think that, a trading community should be just putting out like, 10, 15 swing trades a week. And that's not swing trading, guys. That's just throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping that you hit the target while you're blindfolded. That's doing zero research, zero, looking into setups, things of that nature. And, when that happens, more often than not, you miss the dartboard. And that's what you'll find with these other communities. So if you got in here on your, your promo membership, I'd highly recommend that you stick with us and keep that membership current, because the amount of value that you're going to get here long term is exponentially more than you would get in any other community. I can say that from experience because I've been in them, some prior to meeting Riz, some while I was actually with Riz to do competitive intelligence to see what they were up to. And guys, I will tell you that this is This is legit. We are actually taking the trades that we say we take. We're not taking them in a simulator. We're taking them with real cash, real positions, and that's real trading, guys. And so that's what you get here at Riz Elite. Ricardo says he's got one more question. What do I think on CL? Seems to be pushing out of a downtrend. What do I think? It seems to be touching resistance. All right, well, let's take a look at this, and then we'll call it a night. Colgate Palm Olive. Well, I got to tell you, everybody needs their toothpaste, so that's definitely an important thing. Definitely found support here around 74. Really nice look pushing out of the downtrend. You are correct. It definitely was in one here. I do agree that it looks like it's coming out. Looking pretty decent. We do have the moving averages overhead, which could, give us some bits of resistance, especially these two here. Definitely could be a problem there once we get there, but there is a decent amount of room between here. I mean, 76.25 and, about 79 probably by the time it gets there. So, I mean, you've got a good, $2.50 per share window there, looking pretty decent. Let's see. What do we have? Anything interesting? Yeah, we could potentially see some action here around the 78.50 area as well. That could be significant. But yeah, Colgate, not too bad. Again, it does look like it's pushing out. I would like to see a green move on Monday before I jumped in. But it definitely is looking better than some of the other ones that we looked at. So definitely potential. I'm not like super jazzed about it, but it definitely looks like it's starting to push back up. If it can push over the 50, absolutely. I would feel totally good about that. Or if we start to see more upside on Monday, that would be a good thing too. So guys, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Obviously for my guys who are here and my guys and gals rather, who are here live. I really appreciate each and every one of you. It was great having you. Great interaction tonight. Really love the questions. And again, thank you for being flexible on the time. I really appreciate that. The missus and I went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We had an absolute blast with some friends of ours who live in Murfreesboro and really, really enjoyed ourselves. So guys, have a great rest of your weekend. I know there's not much left. What is left of it, enjoy it, relax, get a good night's sleep. We will be back at it in the markets on Monday. And if you guys are not on Riz Elite and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button to get more awesome content on the webinar replays that we post here on YouTube. So guys, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you in Discord on Monday. Good night, everybody.